Hey everyone, thanks for checking out this video. Here we have a Takamine GD30CE 12 string. This has been my go-to guitar since I got it back in October from Sweetwater. Love this favorite acoustic 12 string I've had so far. There's a review that I did on this as well, which you can find on my channel. Put a link down below in the description for it. In the review, I go on to talk about two of the very few flaws, the two or so few flaws that this guitar had, and one of those flaws being the G series factory tuners are kind of crappy. I've never had this issue on any guitar that I've owned where the factory tuners aren't really very good. You know, you go to turn the tuner and no actual rotation is happening on the post, so therefore no lowering or raising of the pitch in the string. You have to turn it a little bit before it finally catches up. So I went ahead and did a little research, and the G series models are Takamine's lower series, player series, and the Pro series is, just as it sounds, a little bit more upgraded. I was lucky enough to find a set of 12 Pro series Takamine tuners, and hopefully these will be a lot better. So I'm going to get them all installed and see if it improves this guitar anymore. Changing the tuners on a guitar is a relatively easy repair. Assuming you've done the research, you've made sure that your replacement tuners are going to fit properly. I just recently moved, so I don't currently have a good large workstation to use for this repair, this video, so forgive me on that. But I do have a space I'm going to be working in here. I just want to show you guys the equipment I'm going to be using. So I just got this from Fender. It's called the Arch, just to support the neck of the guitar while you're doing repairs. You need a bit of clearance here. Secondly, I'm going to be using this Fender string changing kit, and I'll open that up in a second. Highly recommend this toolkit. I've had it for about 5 years now. Awesome. It's good on electric, it's good on acoustics. Really comes in handy. Once again, anybody who's done this before or is very experienced with guitars, you probably know already how to do this, but for those of you who don't, first thing you're going to need to do is remove the strings to change the tuners. This here is everything inside the Fender toolkit. You know, I'm first going to be taking the strings off. I've added a couple things like nut lubricant, this string here to pull off electric guitar buttons, knobs safely without ruining them. Good kit here, guys. I highly recommend it. Alright, so I finally got all of the strings off. Even removing the strings in a 12 string can be time consuming. First thing I'm going to do to remove these G series factory tuners is loosen all of the nuts on the top of the headstock. As you can see, I've got my first Pro series tuner in place and it fits. Happy about that. And I'm going to continue on the back of the headstock here, removing these screws on the G series factory tuners. So how you install the actual tuner is pretty easy. There's only really few pieces here, so you can do it in any order. Perhaps there's an optimal order, but this is the way I'm doing it. So you get your new tuner in place. Then you're going to drop this piece right on over top and just tighten it down. For now, I'm just going to get them hand tight, tighten them with a tool later. Then you come to the back and you take your screws. And not tightening it too much for now. Just retaining them, getting them in place. And you just repeat that process for all 12 or 6 or 7, however many strings and tuners you have. So I've got all the new tuners on. They feel much better than the G series factory tuners. Obviously, I don't have strings on them yet. It's very late at night, and restringing a 12 string takes quite a long time, so I'm not going to do that right now. I will follow up on how it feels with the strings in a later video. I also, as I mentioned earlier, just moved, and I left my socket wrench kit at my former residence. So it's with my family members. One thing that I need to do, though, when I do retrieve it is very gently tighten up all of these nuts with the socket wrench, you know, the appropriately fitting one. Be gentle. And also, Only hand tight on the back, on the screws on the back of the headstock. Not too tight. Don't use power tools. The wood headstock and the screws, it's all very fragile. So yeah, once again, I'll follow up as to how they play and turn and feel with strings on. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Any questions? Like I said, I'm not a luthier. I've only done this a few times, but this is a pretty easy upgrade, I think. So just ask questions if you need to. Thank you. All right, everyone, this is a follow-up at the tail end of this video. Filming this about a week later from the original sections of this video. I have my socket wrench kit, and I found the right size. It's 13/32. And yeah, like I said, just hand tighten them all up one at a time. I don't see any reason to use the actual socket wrench. That's just my personal opinion, though. And yeah, just tighten them all down. Thanks, guys.